Let's go. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about how can you break out of scarcity thinking, scarcity-based decision making, and how do you leverage an abundance mindset in the decisions that you need to make for your business. Some of you guys are here on multiple platforms, so if you're there, you're saying hi, put something in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me. Awesome. So we want to talk about how do you break out of scarcity-based decision making. And one of the things I wanted to start with is like, what is scarcity-based decision making? So scarcity-based decision making is when you make decisions for your business, for your finances, out of the place of there isn't enough. Now, a lot of the time when we think about scarcity, we're always thinking about, we're always thinking about there isn't enough money. But I want you guys to understand that scarcity-based thinking isn't just about the money. It's often also about your time. So a scarcity mindset around the amount of time that you have, a scarcity mindset around the amount of resource or opportunity that you have. These are some other places where scarcity can often show up when you're trying to make decisions for your business. And before I go into how to change it and what the impact is of having scarcity in your resource, I want to talk about scarcity in your time. Because a lot of people operate out of a mentality of, I don't have time. I don't have enough time. And we don't think about that as scarcity because we think that scarcity has to be financial. But how many of y'all know that if you operate out of a place of, I don't have enough time for blank, for this, I just don't have enough time, it will bleed into your finances. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the people who operate out of a scarce mindset when it comes to their time will often make, Tayo, will often make decisions for their business out of a fear of losing time. And so what do? They feel pressure. They feel the stress of, I never have enough time. I'm always running out of time. And so because of the pressure, because of the stress, have you guys ever had those days where you just sit there and even though you have a lot to do, you end up wasting time because to your brain, what's the point of even trying? I don't have enough time to get everything done that I need to get done. So I just wanted to touch on scarcity in the time element because I think a lot of people, like I said, easily think about money. But if you don't shift that scarcity mindset around the amount of time that you have in a day to get the things that you need to get done, you're not going to enjoy your quality of life either, because now you're not going to be able to be fully present to your family when you're with your family, because I don't have enough time to be with my family. I'm supposed to be doing all this other stuff and I just never spend time with them. And so guilt. But then also when you work on your business, well, I don't have enough time to get everything done that I need to get done in my business. And so you're not fully present. You're not engaged. You're not enjoying the moment. And so those are the first things I want to say is when we talk about how to solve scarcity-based decision making, I want you to also be putting some thought into dropping and ditching this mentality of I never have enough time. Okay, so that's numero uno. That's number one. Number two, I wanted us to talk about now, how does scarcity show up when it comes to your business's financial decisions? Because y'all know we hear this is the 30-day money challenge you guys have been hearing and learning and receiving over the last 7 days. We're on day 7, guys, on how to shift your business into the next level, how to shift your personal finances into the next level. And so what does scarcity-based decision making create in a business? And then I'm also going to be sharing with you guys what does it look like for you to actually break out of it. So we're not just going to talk about what the challenge looks like, we're also going to talk about how do you change the actual picture. So the first thing that it does is scarcity-based decision making in a business causes you to make short-term put out fire type decisions. So a business owner that's always focused, or often, because it's not always, but a business owner that's often focused on how do we just get through today? How do we just make payroll? How do we just pay this bill? Pay the rent, pay the marketing costs, pay the payroll is a simple one, pay our software costs, whatever it is. You find business owners that are always putting out a fire, and it stops you from actually thinking from a bigger, higher level about your company to say, okay, how do we adapt our offer to meet the actual demand so that we have more clients and money coming into the business than the whatever is needed to pay these things. The other thing that scarcity based decision making, or this type of focus where it's like, how do we just make it through, how do we just get through today kind of thinking does, is it actually will also limit your ability to create, because your brain is a lot more powerful than you give it credit for. Oh, by the way, y'all, I heard you yesterday, if you're watching the video as opposed to just listening to the audio, I heard you yesterday as y'all were like, hey, Toyin, why are you using such a mashup bottle? Okay, so here's our nice Toyin Crandell coaching swag, front row, because that's how we show up, that's how we roll. Very nice, and I can drink my water in peace, okay? Thank you. But for a business owner, like, you need to be able to think bigger picture than just, we need to meet payroll, we need to meet these things, especially because if you set goals, or you're operating out of the place of we're just trying to get our head above water, you're gonna always be getting your head above water. He said that's a classy bottle. Well, I know the designer, thank you. And getting your head above water is not thriving. And so if you're wanting your business to have more than enough, if you're wanting your business to get into a place of thriving, of multiplication, where you're not always stressed, you're not always trying to pull things together, you need to be able to take your own level of thinking outside of the we must, we have to, we're stuck mentality, and into a what's possible, what are we creating, how can we adapt, what's available to us mentality. And I'm going to talk more about that. The second thing that a scarcity mentality does is it actually limits. Hey Brandy, hey Araba, let's go. Good to see you guys. If there's so many more of you guys, but you know what? I'm done calling people out because we have so many lurkers that don't like to say hello. So if you don't say hello to me too, I'm not saying hello to you. Okay? All right. But if you're here, say hi. Okay. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. But now, so the second thing that a scarcity-based mentality does for a business owner is it actually limits your creativity. I think I pressed something. I think my sound.
I didn't get that.
Yeah,
Could
thank you.
Again?
Thank you very much. I'm trying to.
You're welcome.
No. Did you guys hear my computer? My computer's like, you're welcome. I'm like, I didn't ask you a question. What was I saying? A scarcity-based mindset limits your creativity and your innovation. So because in that place, you're often focused on what you don't have access to. So like I said, I don't have enough time. So when you think, like, let's say there's a challenge in the business and you're trying to overcome that challenge, create solutions, but you're approaching it from a place of, well, we just don't have the funds. We just don't have the time. We just don't have the capacity. We just don't have the resource. your brain literally won't be able to find solutions, even if they were available to you, because it's starting from a lack perspective. So you've already shut down the conversation before you started the conversation. I hope that's making sense to y'all. Okay? So if you know that you're often approaching challenges from a place of, well, it's probably not going to work anyway. There's just no chance. We need to address it, because how are you going to find creative solutions if your brain isn't set free to actually think from a place of abundance? If your brain isn't set free to actually think of what can we create with what we have in our hands. And this is one of the things I really love about our community, is we have a very resourceful community where people are always thinking of, how can we figure this out? How can we make this happen? And I will say one more thing about this. You know, it's one thing if you're getting started in your business, and your business is coming from like, I got capital funded, or someone gave me a trust fund, or I won a windfall of money. It makes it a little bit easier for you to multiply that money, to invest it, to grow. But if your business didn't start in that place, you have to learn how to be creative, how to be resourceful. And abundance thinking is a foundation for resourcefulness. Abundance thinking is the foundation for creating something out of nothing. You know, I know many of you guys have probably heard the phrase, you can't create something out of nothing. I disagree. You can create something out of nothing if you can train your brain on how to do that. In fact, the Bible says that God, everything that we see, it says, I think it's the book of Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1, it says everything that was made by things that are not visible. So for those of y'all that are always like sharing this, like you can't create something out of nothing, I just want to burst that bubble, because it literally says God created every single thing that you see out of nothing, out of words. But he didn't start at words and end at words. He created with his words, and then he put his hands down to make us. Can you imagine that? That's amazing. Anyway, oh, the screen is blacked out. Oh, here you go, y'all. Sorry about that. Okay, you should hear and see me now. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. All right. So that's number 2, is a scarcity mindset on time, resource, opportunity will stop the brainstorm process on a very practical level. And so if you want to be able to find solutions, we need to change that scarcity mentality. Numero 3. I think I just said Spanish and French and then English. Is okay. Move with me. All right. So number 3 is a scarcity mentality, when you are a business owner, will bleed into your team. Let me say that again. A scarcity mentality will bleed into your team. How so? Because if you operate out of a place of scarcity, you are literally going to be on edge often. You're going to be like, we can't do that. Oh, what did you do there? Every mistake is multiplied, because to you, the stakes are absolutely immeasurably high. Versus being able, you know, one of the things that my team will often say about me is, whenever, like, even if there's a mistake that's made, it's like, it's okay, we'll figure it out, let's go. Because it's like, you're not on edge all the time. Let's go. Yeah, you can see me. Okay, just making sure of that. You're not on edge all the time. And when someone is operating out of a place of constantly we only operate because of competition, because that person's about to take, what will start to happen is your team is going to start to like hide ideas, because they don't want someone else to hear it and then take away their credit for the idea. Like, you literally foster an environment of unhealthy competition, because there is not enough credit to go around. There is not enough affirmation to go around. There is not enough money to go around. There's not enough whatever that thing is. So do you guys understand what I'm saying? You want to make sure that you are leading from an authentic place, and you can't tell your team to operate out of abundance and joy and ease and this beautiful team culture if you yourself are operating out of this place of, we're always under, we're always thinking we can't make it, everything's breaking, nothing is working. How can they step out of that mentality when the leader themselves are living in this place? Okay, now let's talk about how do you break out of a scarcity mentality. So the first thing that you need to do, I mean, you guys would definitely know, you are going to hear this from me. The first thing you need to do is you need to acknowledge that scarcity mentality. I think it takes a lot of humility to be able to acknowledge the limiting beliefs that we have that could be impacting our businesses. And I find that a lot of the time, the business owners that are able to really grow and thrive, the business owners that are able to really grow and thrive are the ones that are willing to be honest with themselves about, the way I speak, the way I'm making decisions, the way I'm operating is often coming out of what I don't have, what I don't see, what I don't want, versus where we're going, what we're building, what we want, what we have access to, and how to multiply. Acknowledging, like, I have been setting my goals based on the bare minimum. This is very practical stuff. I set my goals based on the bare minimum versus setting my goals based on what do I really want. All right. So that's the first thing, is you need to be able to acknowledge that I've been operating out of a scarcity mentality. Another thing I even forgot to say about a scarcity mentality is sometimes you'll find business owners that will hold back from making key investments into their business because we can't spend what we have. We can't let go of what we have. So you're operating like this, and what people don't know is if you treat money like this, you will lose that money easily. Why? Because money is not meant to be hoarded. You need to learn the 4 laws of money. Hoarding it is not one of them. I'm not saying you don't save, but there's a difference between saving money and hoarding money. Y'all heard me? Okay. So the first thing you need to do is you need to acknowledge that scarcity mentality that causes you to hold back even when you know that there's an investment that you need to make that's going to move your business forward. That's numero 1. What was the other thing I was going to say about acknowledging it? It's not enough to acknowledge it. You know, I love this because I mean, this is the area that we coach in, and I talk to a lot of people who can see that they are holding themselves back because of scarcity. And a lot of the time we see it and then we just leave ourselves there. And one thing I love about our community is that we are not okay to see sabotage and live with it. Like, if I see it, let's get rid of it. It's fine and it's natural for all of us to have limiting beliefs. You know, I sometimes talk to people and they'll say, oh, I've done so much self-development, I just don't have any more limiting beliefs. I'm like, it's a lie. You're lying to yourself. You really are. You're lying to yourself. Because no matter how much you've grown, there is always going to be another level of growth. And in the next level of growth, you're still a human being. There is going to be a heart element to that next level of growth. And so there's always limiting beliefs that you're able to shed. There's always old skin that you're able to drop and leave behind. Layers you can leave behind so that you can multiply. Hey, Fala, good to see you. So what is my point? My point is this. You need to be able to acknowledge the limiting belief, the scarcity mindset, and shift the scarcity mindset. If you don't know how to do that, holla at me. I'll tell you how at the end of this video. Okay? She's like, side note, you look good, sis. And you're preaching. Come on now. Let's go. Okay? So that's number 1. The second thing that you want to do when it comes to how do you make decisions out of a place of abundance and not out of a place of scarcity is you want to make decisions based on data, not your feelings. Okay? I was talking to someone today and he said something I loved. He said, you know, I'm making the decision, but I know the decision will not be comfortable. He said, I just want to feel confident in the decision I'm making, not comfortable in the decision I'm making. I loved it, guys, because that's exactly it. Like, as a business owner, you're going to make a lot of decisions that you don't necessarily feel comfortable in, but you feel confident in. And in fact, this goes with the training that I did for you guys yesterday, where I talked about how to make wise, quick decisions. I remember one training I was in, and it was actually someone who had done like billions in his company training. And he had said, if you feel 100% confident, I don't remember what his name was, but he said, if you feel 100% confident about a decision you're making, you're too late. He said, by the time you hit 80% confident in that decision, you move, you run. But if you're because what will happen is, if you have a habit of waiting until you have 100% alignment, 100% confidence in that decision, you are actually going to miss opportunities, because not all opportunities are going to come to you with 100% confidence. And I feel like that's what this guy was saying to me today, where he was like, I understand that investing in myself, investing in my family, investing in my business, I'm not necessarily going to feel comfortable about that, but I feel confident that this is the direction that I need to walk in. So how do you build that confidence? By having a data-driven approach. And what do I mean by that? You being able to understand, what is the problem? What do we need to do? How do we need to fix it? And when you know, you fix it. Data. Like when I talk to people and I'm like, hey, we want to have a conversation. Let's see. There you go. Come on now, Araba. She said 100% confidence is a myth. If you feel 80% confident, go time, run. You're hearing me. Josh said confident, not comfortable. Let's go. So let me see. Data-driven approach. Get clear on, in fact, I'm not going to say all of it. I just trained you yesterday on how to make a data-driven approach. Go check my page, day 6, watch that video, and you'll be able to see how to do that part. But you do need to know how to make a data-driven approach, make those quick, wise decisions, because that's going to keep you from letting your feelings get in the way of your money. Because a lot of people let their feelings get in the way of the money that they're supposed to be earning. Okay, let me just plug this in, because this is about to die. There we go. Number 3, how do you get out of scarcity-based decision-making and into abundance-based decision-making that will actually lead your business to abundance? Hello. Hey, Aiden. Oh, that was Aiden that said that. Good to see you, girl. Okay. Number 3. And this is a huge hack. Are y'all ready for this? Yes. Let's see. Are you ready? Okay. Here's the hack. If you want to step out of scarcity-based decision-making and into abundance-based decision-making, stop thinking about yourself. Hey, Ranjiv. Y'all heard me. Stop thinking about you. When your focus is yourself, when you're inwardly focused, you operate out of self-protection. And so every decision you're making is, how do I make sure that I can keep my own? How do I make sure that I don't lose anything? How do I make sure that you're looking at yourself? And guess who you're not looking at as a business owner? Hey, guess who you're not focused on in that moment? Because you can't focus on 2 different things at once. When you're focused on you, you're not focused on the people you've been called to serve. See, I don't believe that business is for money. If God has given you a business to run, it's because there are people that God has called you to impact. And I don't care whether you run a service-based business or a product-based business. If God has given you a business to run, hey, Toby, then God has given you something that is supposed to reach other people. You know, one of my friends in business, he runs a product-based company, and they pray over every single product that they send out that it would be a blessing. It would bless every single person that it touches. So it's still product-based, but there are people whose lives benefit from coming in contact with this product, because he sees his business as more than just the money. It's about reaching people. So if your business means more than just dollars, then why would you allow your limiting beliefs about what's possible, what's not, being able to scale, not being able to scale, can I really do this? Will it really work for me? All the stuff that's me, stop you from making decisions that's gonna make them better. Because when your business grows and improves and learns, your clients benefit. Your family benefits. That's the second part. So when I'm talking about like, how do you shift out of, hey, Lawana, oh my gosh, girl, I miss you. It's so good to see you. Come on. When I'm talking about breaking out of that scarcity mentality and breaking into abundance mentality and being able to multiply out of that place, even thinking, because some of you guys are watching and saying, hey, listen, I don't run a business. But for you, you may have you have a family that you're pouring into. And so being able, everything that I've already said about assessing your decision making on whether or not it's coming out of that place of scarcity or abundance, you want to now think about it from the perspective of, what would I do if this was for my family? Because it's not about us. Building your legacy is not about you. You know, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. I'm so happy. I'm already doing these lives every single day. But something just happened. Hey, Jocelyn. Hey, girl. Okay. Something just happened today that makes me so genuinely happy. So genuinely happy, guys. So we have someone that we've worked with. She's been in our community for about 3 years. I love her to bits and pieces. Like, I love this woman. She is just such a light in the world. She embraced the process, shifted her finances, shifted who she's been in the world. And so today I had the honor of speaking with her son and his wife. And like, when her son and his wife said they wanted to have a conversation with us, hey, it's okay, I literally was like, I'm gonna do that call because I love her so much. I was like, I want to speak to her son. And in having the conversation with him and seeing him and his wife make that decision to change their life, like, the main thing that was just playing in my head was legacy. I say this all the time, but it's because I mean it. The decisions that you make for your life are not just for you. They're for your generations. You know, when I got on the call with her son and his wife, they said, Toyin, one of the main reasons we even started this conversation with you is because we've seen how much she's changed. Guys, do you get that when you invest into yourself, when you break out, because her making the investment, 2 years ago, was very, very scary back then. But for your family members to see you and say, you're different, there's something different about you. And I want that. Like, I want that place of being, like, you open up doors that other people can't see. Can I give y'all another example? I'm going to give y'all another example of how breaking out of the scarcity mindset, the limited mindset, can affect other people, okay? So one of my sisters went to we went to public school. She went to a public school. She did a ton of volunteering. She did a ton of work. Hey, Tanya. Hey, girl. I ain't seen you in so long. I love doing these lives because I love seeing our community and seeing our people. All right. So she went to a public school. She did the work. She put in the work. She volunteered. She practically built villages, okay? Y'all, she poured back into the community. She mentored other young people, other students. She still mentors other students. She's just this incredible woman. Back then, she was a teenager. Incredible teenager. Studied hard and made a decision that she wanted to get into an Ivy League school. Now, we lived in Canada. She was like, I want to get into like Princeton, Harvard, Yale, Columbia, Penn University, UPenn or something. I don't know all of them, Sha. I think there's like 5 of them. She was like, I want to get into one of these universities. Guys, she was the last of 5 of us girls. And like, none of us had even thought about going to an Ivy League university, like, at all. None of us had even thought about it. She thinks about it and she does this work. And of course, she gets support from our parents and all this stuff. And she makes it in. Like till today, I remember she did a video where she was checking like whether or not she would get accepted, because it just felt like such a long shot for her to be accepted. And like she was accepted into multiple of them. She was waitlisted at Harvard. And I remember watching the video where she was like, oh my gosh, I got accepted. And we're all like screaming, rolling, oh my gosh, okay? And after she got accepted, so she attended Yale, she graduated from Yale, now she's at Oxford, like she changed the mentality for everyone around her, because all of a sudden Ivy League schools were now accessible. So then we had other people at our church get accepted into Ivy League schools. I remember when we went to her graduation and people were talking about like their siblings are all going to Ivy, like all came to Yale, and generations that had gone to Yale University. And we're just sitting there like, you would never have thought this was available like this. But one person, her, had an abundance mentality. And remember what I said in the beginning, that an abundance mentality is not just about the money. It was both the abundance mentality about figuring out, because for a lot of people, the reason they don't think about going to an Ivy League school is because right out the gate, they're thinking I wouldn't be able to afford it. So why would I even bother? Why would I bring that kind of stress to my family? Why would I? So we don't even, like I said, give ourselves the option because we've already cut it off. But it wasn't just that she didn't have a limited mindset around the finance of it, but she didn't have a limited mindset around the resource inside of herself to get there. Because what's the second thing that people would say about getting into an Ivy League school? I didn't go to a private school. I don't have private this and private that. She went to a public school. But because she allowed herself to think differently, to create differently, all these other people, literally hundreds of people, thousands of people, now you guys are hearing it for your own children, for yourselves, now got to see it's available, it's accessible, and I can do it too. That's what I mean when I'm telling y'all that you need to think differently about your money, your investments, your life, for the sake of the people around you. Because going back to what I said, this woman who worked with us 2 years ago, her life changes. And now because of that, her generations get to also upgrade and up-level who they're being in the world. That is bigger than money, guys. The ability to show the people that God has entrusted into your circle of influence, a different way of doing life, a different way of thinking. I can tell y'all, when we first crossed the $1 million mark, in dollars, I love my dad, because my dad would say back in the day, he's like, we're millionaires in Naira, right? Because we moved from Nigeria. It's like, I'm a millionaire in Naira. Who's going to be the first millionaire in dollars? Which is such, like, can you imagine that kind of an environment? I love my parents, right? Who's going to be the first millionaire in dollars? And then when we crossed that $1 million mark, for everyone in the family, we're like, go time, let's go. It's possible. What do we do? Do you get what I mean, guys? Your expansion is not just for you. It is for the people that you have been called to. Come on. All right. So that was number 3, is stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about generations, your legacy, the people that are watching you, the clients that you've been called to serve, because it's not just about you. You matter, but it's not just about you. You're not living just for yourself. You're living to serve and to give back to the people that God has entrusted to your circle of influence. So I told y'all I was going to do 3. One last bonus one. I'll give you bonus. And then we'll jump off. how do you break out of the scarcity mentality and into an abundance mentality? What you also need to do is, or what you can do is personal development for yourself. It's funny because it goes with what I just said. But I found that when I put myself in new environments with people who are thinking even bigger than I am, I can't help but expand. Legit. Like once you see how someone else thinks at a larger capacity, you can't help but your brain expands and you can't unexpand your brain. I remember the first time we were speaking to a mentor, a financial mentor. This was literally in the beginning of the journey when we're just learning, right? What to do with money, how to grow money. And this mentor shared a real estate play that he had done where he did pretty much like a wholesale contract. Okay, so remember at this point I don't think we had our own place. I think we were staying with a family member. We couldn't afford rent. But this guy's talking to us about real estate, buying a house. And he had been telling us for so long, you need to buy a house, you need to buy a house, you need to buy a house. Power of environment. Anyway, he's talking to us. And I remember he shared how he had found a real estate deal. He didn't want to purchase it fully for himself, but it was you could not pass this deal aside type of deal. And they needed help because they needed to sell the house within like a week. He didn't want to buy it. He found a buyer that would give them more money than the bank would have paid them. And so he took their need and brought it over. Hey, E-Man, let's see. Hey, the Legals, good to see you. Hey, Ro. So he took that real estate opportunity, brought it to another company, and in the process, he took a $10,000 cut. So he's explaining this deal to us, and he was like, within the matter of about like 20 minutes of actual conversation, maybe an hour of actual conversation with like talking with the sellers first, then bringing it over to the buyers, he was like, made about $10,000. I remember hearing this man speak and just being like, like, whoa, is that even possible? Is that for real? How do you do that? How do you even notice an opportunity like that? How do you think like that? Once my mind expanded there, I couldn't unexpand it. And some of us don't invest into being in those rooms that expand our thinking. And we're content with being the biggest player in the circle that we're in. Just this past weekend, I was in a room where Marcus Lemonis came and shared with us and was just talking. And like there was a portion where he trained, like he talked to me about my business. But even while he was talking to all these other business owners about their businesses, I'm just like learning for myself by being in the environment. Y'all, if you want to break out of that scarcity mentality, put yourself in rooms that challenge your thinking. Put yourself in rooms that cause you to say, whoa, wow, I would never have thought of it that way. I probably wouldn't have noticed that opportunity in the first place. Whoa, like I came back home and actually implemented changes in our business based on just hearing this man speak. So that's my spiel. The biggest thing I want to say to y'all is if you want to scale your business, your personal finance, your net worth to millions of dollars, you need to learn and implement the stuff that we talked about. You need to be able to come out of the scarcity-based mentality, out of the scarcity-based decision-making, and into an abundance-based decision-making so you can actually have the abundance. And it's not just a woo-woo, hum experience. It's a practical process that you walk your brain through to help your brain embrace this new way of decision making. So if you're watching this, let me come over here. If you're watching this and you know that you are ready to break out of that limited way of decision making, then what I want to do, here we go. Where is it? Here. And this is for those of y'all in Facebook. Like I said to you people in Instagram, I don't know, Instagram doesn't let me show you anything. But what you want to do is go ahead and click on the link, go to moneymindsetShift.ca/call, and let's have a conversation about how to help you walk in that abundance mentality, abundant decision making processes, so that you can actually experience that in your business and in your personal finance. And if you are watching this and you want to join the conversation, then if you're on Instagram, join my what do you call it? They call it something, the Instagram broadcast channel. If you're on Facebook, click on the new link that's in front of you. Join the Facebook group. We would love to have you guys join the conversation. Like I said, I am going live every day in the month of December, showing you guys how to multiply the money and the resource and the time and the talent that God has placed inside of you. So if you know you don't want to miss these conversations and you don't want to miss these lives, hit the like button, the follow button, the notify me button, whatever button is there for you to hit it. Subscribe button if you're watching it on YouTube, hit the buttons, and I am gonna see you guys tomorrow just about this time. Peace out. Hey millionaires, thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you want to subscribe, there's a little picture of me right here. Click on that. And if you want to have a free financial breakthrough session with my team, then you can go on ahead and click on the button right here, or visit moneymindsetShift.ca/call. I'll see you guys on the next show. Bye-bye.